En episodios anteriores.
What up? My name is Vicolas from 2 Media. Yeah, I'm doing a review on Eminem's new album, The Death of Slim Shady, Coup de Grace. Now, Eminem is a household name and is debatably the GOAT. And okay, I get it, he did revival. Anyway, enough of the history because I'm going to be talking a lot of that in the breakdown of the songs later in the video. And plus, I'm sure you want to hear about why you clicked on the video and the, I guess, clickbait part of this video, which isn't really clickbait, the AI part. Yes, I am in full belief that Eminem used AI on this album, and I have my reasons and my speculation, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people have kind of touched on this before, and I will go into this later in the video. And my main point is Eminem used AI to sound like his old self. Anyway, I'm not going to get to that until the end of the video, so if that is all you care about, skip to this timestamp here, or the chapter which I am titling, I don't know, this, probably something like AI part of the video here.
All of my niggas gon' ride with it in the pocket to rock it like killing mama.
Fuel, it was my favorite. It has now been fucking beat the fuck down to number 2. By Bizarre. No. Ah, fuck, no. Shit. No.
I wanna suck that toe.
In my humble opinion, rap is full of fucking trash right now. And even the rappers I like aren't really dropping shit that I rock with right now. There are a few rappers today that can save this genre right now, and Jid is one of those. And Jid really showed out on this track as I expected him to. I didn't expect Jid to be on this album, so it was a very great surprise to see him. Now, unpopular opinion, Jid can wrap circles around J. Cole. Oh, I said it. You can crucify me all you want, but I will stick to it till I die. Now, J. Cole might have been a better artist. Born Sinner is his greatest work to this day, in my opinion. But Jid is a better lyricist, rapper, bar for bar, flow for flow, is just a better rapper. J. Cole has a better chorus game, song making ability, but when it comes to rap, I gotta give the crown to Jid. Sorry, my bad. Anyway, I really hope this got a lot of attention on Jid because I know a lot of Eminem fans. I really hope they already have eyes on Jid, but if they don't have eyes on Jid, I really hope this got a lot of people's eyes on Jid. I've seen people saying that Jid actually tried hard on this and he really had to rap for his life on this track, but I disagree entirely. For those who do know who Jid is and do listen to Jid, you would know that Jid raps like this on everything.
Plenty niggas disappointed, I participated, could have been avoided, but they kill a nigga trying to fill a boy, filling fouls in the drawer. It's a girl, it's a child, it's a boy in the world. I'ma tell him I see the way go. Hey, when I fly on my drive to the top, I've been out of shape, thinking out the box, I'm an astronaut. I blasted off the planet, rock that cause catastrophe, and it matters more. I knew in diapers, you and I was nothing to like it all. I do or die, you do it to die. I'm really making calls, you couldn't kill it to take it out of me. The ideology, this the odyssey, I'm Odysseus, you gotta follow me.
Now, when I first listened to the song, I kind of had a little bit of a doubt for Eminem. I was fearful for him. I really thought that Jid might have the upper hand here. I was like, how is Eminem going to out-rap Jid on this? I mean, usually Eminem does out-rap the other artists on his feature list. But as Jid kept going, and then he got into the 4+8 rhyme scheme that he does, I started to have doubts, which is kind of uncommon for me because I am a certified stan. I'm an Eminem dick writer. Jid ate the track, and if you haven't heard this yet, I recommend you stop this video, go listen to that song, Fuel, and then come back to the video. Then we get to the hook, which has elements from the song Phenomenal, in my opinion.
Every ounce in my blood, every breath in my lungs, won't stop until I'm phenomenal. Run out of fuel, I won't. What the fuck y'all gonna do if I don't run out of fuel?
It's a very simple hook to kind of, contrast the bar-heavy, rapidy-rap verses that we get and that we deserve from Jid and Eminem. Now, while Jid and Eminem don't share the same content on this song, that makes sense. This is more of a freestyle, as more of the new generation call this a freestyle, meaning they can rap about anything. That's not what I used to call a freestyle growing up. A freestyle was off the top of the dome, spitting shit that you know or don't know and hit it with a flow, bar, game, go home. Yeah, that was a freestyle. Now it's just whatever content you can think of and throw it in a song. But yeah, that's really what this is. It's just rapidy rap rap. And if you're coming to a JID and Eminem song expecting like a, I don't know, a J. Cole type chorus, you're part of the problem. This is an Eminem JID song. Don't come here looking for a great chorus. Then we get to Eminem, who says like fuck the hook and interrupts it immediately to get into his verse, and any like doubts I had of Eminem are immediately extinguished as soon as he gets into his like I call it like the triplet 3-round burst flow. It's like da 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 da.
For a couple decades, been letting this text ray from that day that I met Dre.
I'd have to say Eminem had bar for bar the better verse on here. I mean, obviously, I figured you're gonna know I was gonna say that, especially when he got to that Diddy part, you know, the essay, like an SA, but SA for sexual assault, you know, SA, or I guess for you it'd be SA, sexual assault, and then he spelled out rapper. I mean, it's there for you. You can look it up on Genius if you didn't get it. It's right there for you for P. Diddy. It's the whole thing. A lot of people hated that for some reason, thought it was corny, but it's actually a triple entendre when you look further into the bars. When he gets to the touching my car, that's a reference to Tupac's death. And then the whole it being planned by Diddy, it's probably, it went over your head. It's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. Even the light bars that he did, the small ones, hit hard with like the obesity bar that he said, where he's like, you think it's overweight, but like overweight. And then he hits these crazy pockets, which are like very complex, but they don't really sound complex to the normal layman, like normal rap listeners that aren't heavily into the whole lyrical miracle spiritual shit, which I think Eminem really got good at when it came to Music to Be Murdered By. He had to kind of like learn that and master that, and I think it really helped him on this track in particular, and a lot of the other tracks going forward on this album, and of course Music to Be Murdered By Side A and Side B. Did you know that Eminem eliminates enemies immediately, especially if insinuating emphasis on M's encompassing erratic endowment, essentially earning everlasting envious emulation? Yeah. Do you know what that was? That was alliteration. That was fucking 45 takes is what that was. That's what that really was. I don't even know if I did that one. Did that one sound right?
They all sounded, well, the last two sounded right.
Okay. Yeah, that was alliteration, meaning that the beginning of every word is either starting with the same letter or sounding like it started with the same letter, meaning like E's and I's, if they sound like then it's alliteration. Eminem does this when it gets to when Eminem starts saying the most content on the continent, constant compliments give me confidence, that's literally alliteration with the ka. I was impressed by this, yes. I was also equally impressed when Crooked Eye did it on Psychology 101, which coincidentally enough, he used the exact same letter and sound on that song as well.
This meant to compass through competition. Conquered and conked him into unconsciousness. No conscious, I conjured this King Kong and just call me kamikaze. I'm concocting this.
Coming correct when creating a crazy composition. Cannibal character, calico carrier. Got a crooked copper missing. Cali killers on cannon cocking missions.
I don't know if like using the C sound is the easiest one to do. If it is, go me for not using that letter. Rock on, I used the E, woo, for Eminem. And then they ended again with the chorus, the full chorus this time, and they just let it right out, and then French kiss, mwah, 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 French kiss. Yeah, this song is number 2 on the list of my favorite songs off this album. JID, Eminem, y'all really did it this time. You killed it. I'm glad this happened. It was great for the culture. You gotta go listen to this if you haven't.
Doing fun accents now.
I've been waiting for this. I'm gonna make a name for myself here.
This rap shit divided by panty lines. Which side are you on?
This is the second weakest song on the album, if you ask me. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. Sorry, that's my opinion. Don't kill me. First, we get an appearance from Sly Piper, or they used to be called Sly Jordan. Now, a lot of people who listen to Music to Be Murdered By might recognize them from songs such as Guns A-Blazing, Higher, and Favorite Bitch. They did the chorus for all of these tracks, and did a lot of the background vocalization as well. Dr. Dre fans will recognize him from a lot of the Compton album. He was sprinkled all over there with also choruses and vocalizations as well. And my favorite cameo, he was the chorus to Fast Lane from Bad Meets Evil. Yes, that Fast Lane, which is crazy. I didn't know that.
Life in the
It was pretty crazy to learn that when researching that for this video. I really love that chorus because it had a real Nate Dogg feel to it. Rest in peace, Nate Dogg. So I guess you could say I'm kind of like a subconscious fan. That being said, I did not like this cameo in this song, like at all. He sounded too much like that weed smoking rap that I'm not a fan of, like Afro Man, and I don't know if that was intentional. I don't know what the point was because I felt that had no semblance to the song in general, but whatever, it didn't really appeal to me at all.
Pop lockers, break dancers, rap masters, free slaves walking around with the ghetto blasters.
I hope I make it out alive. I'm a master at masquerading and acting like I ain't faded. Only I can see through my disguise.
I feel like there really wasn't much replay value on this song. It was not very inviting. And then we get to the chorus, which is sung by Dem Joints, if you want to call that singing. It's more like a guttural screaming, yelling road rage, if you will. And then the beat really isn't very inviting either, in my opinion. I'm kind of like shitting on this song. It's not bad, just not good. It has that, the beat has that humming sound to it that sounds like a dying fly that's leaning on a solo cup. That's how I would describe this beat. Let me
Shit on this song.
I'm just, it's an observation and an opinion, guys. Back to the chorus. When I'm mindlessly driving, the chorus is fine because I'd be driving and talking shit to people, yelling, and then the chorus hits and I'm like, yeah, this slaps. This is right in line with my mood while driving. But if I have like headphones on at home or just playing it on the speakers, this song is not the move. It's not the move. So I end up skipping it anyway. This is a very skippable song. And on top of all of that, we have this very angry, guttural, screaming chorus that is very contrasting to Eminem's very like laid back flow on the verses. And it just doesn't really sit well with me. Now, Dem Joints did have a hand in producing the track for Guilty Conscience 2, which is also the same instrumental on Trouble, which I said earlier. He also produced a few of the songs off of the Compton album, and he also did some songs off of Donda. But in this song, he doesn't have a good voice, in my opinion. It could be good in other songs. Don't know, haven't looked into it, so don't take my word for it. It's just jarring in comparison to Eminem's like nonchalant inflection on the song. Which leads me to Eminem and his flow, which I'm sure you really want me to talk about here. We get a very odd thing here where we get Eminem's kamikaze flow, and not one of the good kamikaze flows, one of the kamikaze flows I'm not a fan of. We get a part where I'm pretty sure it's AI Slim Shady, where it's the flow from the song Good Guy off of Kamikaze, but with that Slim Shady AI, and it just doesn't sound good to me. I never liked that flow to begin with, but now we hear it with Slim Shady's voice, and it just doesn't work for me.
The way things been with today's thinking, we should baby them instead of shaming them. Let's take 9 men, I'm taking 2x4s to our 8x10s. Give to 2 I tore out the frame, I win. Put up a new high score, beat this game I'm in.
But at least he does switch the flow up towards the end, and it does save the song if I were to wait long enough. Then he breaks down into an impression rap flow, imitating the flow from Juvenile's song, Huh? I'm sure you've heard it before, huh?
You ain't scared, huh? You know how to play it, huh? I know you ain't gonna let somebody come and punk you, huh? Stand in front you, huh?
Oh, you want me to fucking chill and tone this shit down, huh? Yep. That Shady speaking his mind like it was his mouth, huh?
No, the Juvenile, huh? Kendrick did it, and Element, the part that I hate, which is what I'm about to get into in the next bit right here.
Oh, take me on that one.
That's a reference to Juvenile's song. That's what Eminem did. And he did it better in my opinion. That's what
That's the lead.
I said it, and you just didn't think I liked the original, huh? You probably think I liked it when K-Dot did it on Damn, huh? Shit was whack when Kendrick did it on Element 2. I'm sorry. And let me tell you, Element is like one of my favorite songs off of Damn. It really is. I have a cousin who is like really big on Kendrick Lamar. I told him I love the song Element. That part came on, you know, I thought you weren't gonna see me, huh? And I told him, I said, this is the worst part of the song. It's what I call a speed bump of a song, where the song is good and all, you get to a part where it just completely ruins the entire song for a bit and throws you off with the vibe. I call those speed bumps. I told him about that, and he's like, oh, you just don't get it. It's a reference to Juvenile from that song, huh? And I'm all like, okay, still not good. So he had to like pull up a video, show me the song, play it for me, and I had to sit there, and then all this time had to be shown to me for me to go to him again and be like, still wasn't good. I get it, it was a reference, but my point is it did not sonically sound good with the song and the instrumental picked for Element. Now, how Eminem did it with the beat change up, it worked. I'm about to get flamed in the comments. That's fine, y'all go ahead and smoke your copium flavored dick in the fucking comments, bro. I don't care. Just because it's a reference doesn't make it good. Just because it's paying homage doesn't make it good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Flame me. I still love Kendrick. Eminem did it better. And I'm not saying that because I'm an Eminem dick rider, I promise. Anyway, I digress. Next song. This is the biggest red herring song off of the album. And I mean that, I try to mean that in like the best way possible, but it could also be misinterpreted as a bad way. I need a drink. Now let me preface, I love this song. It's like a love note to Without Me from The Eminem Show. And as you know, The Eminem Show is my favorite Eminem album. And Houdini came out before we really knew what the album was going to sound like, so it gave me a expectation of the album to sound like a sequel to The Eminem Show. Rightfully so. This was the first single off the album. So, of course, it gave me expectations that were never fulfilled. But yeah, I anticipated Eminem Show 2, and that song is where the similarities really ended for the Eminem Show 2 similarities, obviously with an exception of the other references that we do see that I have stated previously and later down in this review. Now, I loved the Eminem Show because each song did not sound like just someone rapping on a track. Every song had a rhythm to it, a cadence that was special and unique to the instrumental put in place. Meaning it had a distinct rhythm, as in like I could hum to you a flow from Eminem off of one of the songs off of the Eminem Show, and you would know what song I was humming based off of just humming a flow. That is what set the Eminem Show apart from most of other rap albums. Now, this paired with the instrumentals by Dr. Dre, which are iconic in and of themselves, with melodies that are easily iconic and memorable, you get the Eminem Show. And then those melodies mixed with a sick bass line and a sick drum loop, you had yourself the greatest rap album of all time. Now, we pretty much had something very close and similar with Houdini, and that is exactly what we got. We had Eminem's zany bars, we had the bouncy rhythm, we had a accompanying music video which was even akin to that of Without Me. And it all set forth obviously a very entitled opinion of what was to come for the death of Slim Shady. But it didn't happen. So yeah, it was a red herring, but I do love Houdini. And then we get a chorus that is a play of Abracadabra by the Steve Miller Band. Which, referencing old music and like choruses, is something that old Eminem used to do. Especially did this on the Eminem Show and Encore. Like Sing for the Moment had Aerosmith with Dream On. Spend Some Time, You Self-Seeking Man by Spooky Tooth.
If there's any bitches in this room, and there's something I gotta say. If there's any injustice in the world, and there's something I gotta say.
Encore Curtains Down, You Strawberry Letter 23 by the Brothers Johnson.
We came here to set this party off right. Let's bounce tonight. Stay with no yellow candy strings. See speakers of kind.
and so on and so forth. There's many. You could look this up, do your own research, but not like flat earth research. Do your own real research. So you can see all the comparisons and why this song had the makings for, you know, to show that there'd be like an Eminem Show 2 album and why I'm kind of upset about it. But it is what it is. But this song is definitely top 5 off of this album, and I can see why they made it a single. And then we also got another box checked off of what would make this a Slim Shady album, and that would be the Paul Call skit. It's not a skit, it's just, I guess, a skit added to the song, which is very unfortunate, but we still got a Paul Call, which is cool. Which I would also like to point out that before I get the comments about South Park references not being in the Slim Shady LP, I know that. I just still think South Park references is still such a Slim Shady thing that we're gonna allow it. Fun fact before we move on from Houdini, did you know that Eminem got 2 awards from the VMAs off of Houdini? And that's not the fun fact. The fun fact is in the Houdini song, he took shots at Megan Thee Stallion, you know, talking about her toe and all, her foot.
If I was to ask for Megan Thee Stallion if she would collab with me, would I really have a shot at her feet? I don't know, but I'm glad to be.
And he ended up beating her in both categories. He beat her at Best Hip Hop Music Video and Best Visual Effects. Yeah, it's one of those such coincidental events where Eminem beat someone else with the song that they were dissing that same person with. It's crazy, right? It's kind of giving Christina Aguilera giving Slim Shady award vibes.
Interesting. Eminem.
What a crazy world we live in.
Why does it feel like I'm always being tortured? The bad apple spoils the whole orchard.
We get the return of the beat from Trouble. Yeah, also produced by Dem Joints, as I said in 2 or 3 songs ago. But this time, it's the final form. In Trouble, they took a lot of the sounds that you hear and like turned them way down, I guess to put emphasis on Eminem's lyrics, which is completely understandable because for this song on Guilty Conscience 2, it's more about what Eminem is saying and not how he's saying it. But we do get a little bit of those sounds that he did turn down up a little bit throughout the actual song, so I'm not really that mad about it. But what I am mad about is we don't have Dr. Dre on the song, which is a little irritating considering it's Guilty Conscience. But I understand why he did it. It's an inner battle with himself, his inner conscience. So Guilty Conscience, it's right there. Now listening to the song, I got a sense of deja vu. And yes, as in relapse deja vu. This was the good ending to My Darling. Now hear me out. There are a lot of parallels between Guilty Conscience 2 and My Darling. Now, not just Guilty Conscience 2, but this album in general. Now, the song My Darling is a song about Eminem confronting a demon that he made a deal with a long time ago, right before he became famous, to become famous, and he's having to finally pay his due to the demon.
I gave you enough time, your soul's mine. I'm taking it back.
You fucking bitch, what?
Eminem thought that he had defeated him a while ago, but he was wrong.
The fucker, I had you beat.
No, I was playing possum, remember? I let you watch your little girls blossom.
And I think it's kind of obvious that this demon or spirit from My Darling is Slim Shady. We can infer that through these subtle remarks of,
Yeah, why don't you cut your hair? Dye it back, come on, try it. Look a little closer, isn't that us on that poster?
along with the fact that everyone starts referring to him as Slim Shady as soon as this demon makes an appearance. And while this demon is around Eminem and making all of these visions appear and makes the phone calls to Dr. Dre. And the demon refers to Eminem as Slim Shady when he's in the mirror in the song, but as soon as Eminem breaks the mirror and as soon as Eminem breaks the mirror and the demon is now face to face with Eminem, the demon now refers to him as Marshall.
This is what you wanted your whole life, Marshall, right? Boom.
But we get parallels where the demon ends up taking Eminem back in My Darling in the same sense that Slim Shady takes Eminem back in the album by kidnapping him and tying him to a chair.
Been waiting a long time for this shit.
We also get these little references, you know, like...
Betrayal, Shady is the bottle of hair-bleaching vodka.
Well, what does Slim Shady do as soon as he gets a hold of Eminem?
Fuck does it look like I'm doing? No. Dyeing our hair. Drink it. No. I said drink it, bitch.
We also get a mirror in both My Darling and in Guilty Conscience 2, which I thought was kind of funny.
Fuck this mirror!
It's your reflection staring back, bitch. It's just a mirror, relax.
The demon in My Darling then begins to remind Eminem of all the nice things that Eminem has because of the demon.
Look at this house, look at these cars, they're so nice.
Exactly like Eminem does in Guilty Conscience 2 as well.
But I helped you get your stacks higher. Yeah. That's diamond sales, like sapphires, rap buyers, admires.
The difference being that in My Darling, Eminem loses to the demon and lets Slim Shady take him over and becomes Slim Shady again, which we do see because My Darling is the end of Relapse and Recovery, that era, and then we see Eminem LP 2 where Eminem re-dyes his hair blonde again, and we see the return of Slim Shady, coincidentally.
But together we can break the cycle. Marshall, no one's gonna love you like I do.
But in Guilty Conscience 2, Eminem doesn't take that shit. Eminem fights back, argues back with him. Eminem stands up to Slim, calls him a liar, tells him he's full of shit, continues to whoop his ass, and in true Slim fashion, pulls the gun on him.
That does it. Uh-oh. Yeah.
And then kills him and wakes up, and coincidentally, and I think it's kind of funny, wakes up to a track off of Revival. And in a sense, revives. Right, babe? He managed to. So we go ahead and go back to seeing the parallels between My Darling and the entire album as a whole. Guilty Conscience 2, though, we have a more happier ending, or happier for Eminem, not for Slim Shady, obviously. And yeah, that's pretty much what I got out of this track. Also, they also bring up midgets again, and guess what? We filmed a video, believe it or not, for a song called No Way Home. If you want to see that, it's right here, and it was filmed in midget.
Doing my best just to not blow my cover. No, it's all just a test, but I can't pass up this.
Now that Eminem has awoken from his nightmare, that concludes the conceptual part of the album up until the end or the outro. So everything between here and then is really just filler. I don't want to say filler, but more of just the rapidy rap part. Has nothing to do with the story. And this also concludes the AI portion of the album. I don't think there's any other AI past this point until we get to the extended part of the album. Don't tell anyone I told you that, okay? Shh. Between you and I. So to give us a break from this, we get Easy Mill. He's kind of like the intermission, the break from Eminem. Easy Mill is like the newest artist signed to Shady Records. Eminem found him. He was on a song that was released a little bit ago called The Realist, or I think it's just Realist, with Eminem, which got a lot of eyes on it because of some shit that Eminem said about Melly Mel. That was a whole thing that unfortunately didn't really put much eyes on Easy Mill. But in my opinion, Easy Mill did better on this song than he did on that one. I did not think that Easy Mill was going to do good on this song, but I was pleasantly surprised to be wrong. I actually felt like he was in his pocket with this instrumental. I don't know if he picked it or if it was picked out specifically for him, but it felt like that this beat was tailor-made for him. He had this sort of cocky flow about him that really fit him really well. I enjoyed his wordplay, especially when he got to this like chess scheme that he was doing about like the different chess pieces. I don't know if y'all caught that, but if you didn't, I'm about to enlighten you. I'm just gonna read it from here, shameless. When he said, "Holding my chest, all you hoes got your checks, cause check. I'm a queen when I run up, cause a queen. Cross a king with my hunters, rookie G's, cause like a rook, you pawns to me." Like those are all pieces to a chess set. I don't know if y'all got that. Bar.
Nice to know that you not only do this to me in the car.
I do it to my wife like all the time. He also has this cocky inflection that makes these bars hit harder than they probably should. So that's very useful for him. And then we get a chorus, one of the few rap choruses on this album, which is unfortunate because this is a Slim Shady LP-like album, or at least that's what it's promoted to be. We have a lack of rap hooks on this album, especially Eminem rap hooks. If we go back to the Slim Shady LP, come here, take a ride with me. Let's go look at the Eminem LP over here, right over here. Let's listen to like a little brief snippet of all of these choruses right here, and tell me what they all have in common.
My name is.
You hear this? You hear these?
If I had $1 million bucks, don't you wanna grow up to be top bottles? Life makes you mad enough. Talking this shit beyond my. This is what happens when bad me for you. To all the people out.
They're all Eminem rapping. It's like Eminem doesn't have the confidence to rap a chorus anymore, but he used to do that, and I feel like if he's going to advertise this as a sequel to the Slim Shady LP, which he undeniably has, I want to see more Eminem rap choruses. That's a pet peeve of mine. I'm sorry. Opinion. Anyway, that's just something I noticed, an observation for this album. For those who didn't notice it, you're welcome. I hope you don't ever unsee it. But Eminem did kind of stay tamed on this song. I felt like he kind of dialed it back to kind of help Easy Mill stand out more than he should have. So helping a brother out, you know? And I do think that Eminem had some bars. Yeah, Eminem always has bars, but he kind of had a few good ones, and then he kind of took a step back to do some storytelling, which we don't really see that often from Eminem, rightfully so. I think Eminem avoids storytelling because he kind of already said everything that he can. For example, he brings up this part in here about his uncle getting stabbed, right?
Saw my uncle get stabbed, took a knife right in the abs, and all he was trying to do was get my tricycle back.
He already said this in a song years ago called The Apple.
Those are my best friends until Isaac took my tricycle and my uncle Ty went to try to go get it back and ended up getting jumped and cut in the gut.
So it's not uncommon for Eminem to say things he's already said before. He said it all. He again goes into this whole ensemble of talking about drugs again and his mom feeding him drugs, which I feel like he's talked about that before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was a thing that he said more than once at least. But he did say this one bar later, or it might have been previously, I don't remember, I don't have the song in front of me. But he does say this one bar in the song that had me kind of jealous and mad. But he said, he was all like, make you faint like you're faking a jab. Like, why didn't I think of that? That was like right there, low-hanging fruit. But I've never thought of that before. So he had to sacrifice a lot of bars for storytelling, and then he had to sacrifice storytelling for bars. And then I shit you not, he said this line that had me pause the song because I was mad that I didn't think of this one either. But he was like, these rappers, I'm above them, but punching down ain't beneath me. Like, I'm a terrible writer, why didn't I think of that? But other than those, like those few bars I mentioned, it's a pretty mid-verse from Eminem, I guess, to really just keep Easy Mill looking good, which is fine. I think the song is a decent song. I'll put it above mid, but when it comes to just Eminem in general, it was pretty mid compared to the rest of the album. On to the next one.
Where's Haley? Where's she at?
This ain't Haley.
Who is it?
Now we get thrown back to Still Don't Give a Fuck with the intro of
a lot of people ask me, am I afraid of death?
Which was a great move considering the title, and it's like one of the very few actual references to the Slim Shady LP, so that was nice to see. And I do like the comparison between the two songs, meaning we have the original song, which was from Still Don't Give a Fuck, and it's a song about him not giving a fuck, really about anything. And then it leads to many years later to today on a song that has the same intro, to probably a full 180 to a song about the one thing he probably gives the most fucks about, his daughter, and leaving a song behind to help her cope with his death, which is closer than it probably has ever been, with him reaching the age of 50. And this song hits hard not because it has to deal with his mortality or with his age or with his daughter just having her own kid soon and it helping push the agenda further of, you know, mortality, but because his daughter is about the same age as me and a lot of the other people who grew up listening to Eminem. So while this song may be a goodbye to Haley, coincidentally, this song's kind of a goodbye to us as well. This will be our coping song also. Eminem is our daddy also. He wasn't just a major influencer to Haley, but to a lot of us that listen to his music, and I'm sure a lot of people who love Eminem use his music as an outlet to get through a lot of the hard times. So when Eminem does eventually pass, this song will hit harder than it has ever hit before, and even thinking about it now probably hurts, which is why when the song came out and you listened to it for the first time, you probably choked up.
Man, this nigga, man. Damn, I'm not finna cry right now, dawg. Stop, man. I can't take this song, bruh. Nah, dawg. Nah, I ain't never, nigga.
You can see in real time a lot of reactors do their best to not cry to the song because they can feel it. The dread of knowing one of their favorite artists is getting old. Us knowing that one of our favorite artists that we have grown watching drop music, break records, raise Haley in a climate of hatred, beef with artists that would rope Haley in and use her to get at him, MGK, Ja Rule, fight with his ex and watch him put all of this on display to the public, and it is reaching an end of his lifetime, and he feels close enough to his end that it inspires him to make this specific song. And while the meaning of it refers to the tears and the heartbreak being, you know, temporary, it almost seems like that's not the only thing he's referring to with the title of temporary. So yes, it hits hard. To the face! Despite this being the most revival-ass fucking song on the album with the lack of drums and snares on some walk on water type shit, it's alright. I mean, like I said, it hits hard. It's not something with what I would call real replay value. The song is good, don't get me wrong, it is good, but when it comes to actual replay value, listening to this in the car, I don't know why he thinks removing drums, snares, hi-hats makes the song more emotional. I don't know where he got that idea from, but that is absolutely not true. For example, let's go to one of my favorite emotional songs of his, and When I'm Gone. Y'all know this song, right? I'm sure you all know this song. You would think that When I'm Gone, one of the most gut-wrenching songs with thousands of tears poured out for it, would prove that wrong, but apparently I guess fucking not. It seems like it's such a hard thing to get Eminem to make another one of these, and I don't understand why that's the case. This song is a headbanger, and I will cry while fucking banging my head to this goddamn jam. This shit is bussin' on God on God.
I'm looking down and you smiling, and I didn't feel a thing, so baby don't feel no pain, just smile back.
See, this is hard. Do this again. We also got a music video for this where Haley announced she's going to be a mother, which makes Eminem our granddaddy now too. Woo. And then we get Skylar Grey, which I'm a fan of her from a lot of the songs that she has done previously with Eminem and Slaughterhouse. I am a fan of her voice. Fuck it, sue me. I know a lot of people don't like her. She's very polarizing for some reason amongst the Eminem fans. I don't get why, but I've enjoyed everything she's been on with Eminem. In fact, one of my favorite Eminem features is on a song that has her on it as well. And she killed the chorus as well. Of course, why would I bring that up? This is not like the fourth time I've said this. Deja vu. But if she were to have the backing drums like kick and snares, it probably would be better and I wouldn't be skipping the song as much as I would. Not that the song is bad, but when I'm cruising on the highway, this song is looking very skippable, if you know what I mean. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, it's really hard when in comparison to When I'm Gone, and anytime Eminem does any kind of song that has to do with this kind of territory, I immediately go to When I'm Gone.
But got my head up in the sky again. But Even that my stacks are higher than money pile like Tony Stark.
This song sounds like a cut from Music to Be Murdered By, and I love it. I mean, you can see Eminem rapping this with the fedora and the suit and tie and the crow on his shoulder and the shovel in his hand. Tell me you can't. Especially since like the bass is the first thing you hear. Like as soon as that bass hits, I'm like boom, boom. I'm like, damn, we're getting in. We're eating the day. Where was this on Recovery? I hate Recovery. And the chorus, if you didn't know, is a direct reference to Revival and all of the hate that stemmed from it. It's a great spin on the hate, referring to, you know, diamond, platinum, gold, all the sales that Eminem has gotten. And with all of these awards that Eminem has, people are still mad about one bad album. Talking to you, Antoine. Why are you blurring this? And that bad album went platinum. And the cocky execution that White Gold displays on the chorus, of course, it hits every time. White Gold never misses. And then we have Eminem, who adds a twist to the hook before every end of the verse, which I think is very creative, and I wish more artists would do stuff like this. And then Eminem does this miniature golf line that really had me confused for a lot of listens, and then it finally clicked one day, and I was like, oh, miniature golf. Miniature golf, okay. I get it now. So the ad-libs on the third verse are also very funny, and they're killer. If you haven't gone and actually paid attention to the ad-libs on the third verse, I highly recommend you go over there, go sit down, listen to it, listen to the verse, and then listen to the ad-libs backing what Eminem is saying. It's pretty funny. And then we get to Eminem talking shit about MGK again, which is funny because it's immediately contradicting the apology that he said in Guilty Conscience 2 a few songs earlier, meaning whatever apologies that he made in that song were useless. They mean nothing. They're meaningless. It meant nothing at all, which I kind of expected, and you should have too. But this is what I want to see from M more often. This kind of beat, this kind of flow, this kind of execution, this kind of song where it sounds like Eminem is having fun, he's doing creative flows, and he's spitting bars. Just a good song that you can listen to on the road and just blast. None of that brand new dance shit.
Tobey Maguire got bit by a spider, but see, me, it was a goat. If you want space.
So this song was a single, and I really wish it wasn't. I didn't think the song was all that. I kind of thought it was pretty mid, especially compared to the album and all of the other features that Eminem was doing around the same time as of late when the song appeared, which kind of made this song seem boring in comparison. Which, I mean, I guess that kind of made for a perfect single, because you don't really want to put all your cards out on the first go, you know. Don't show all your cards, right? Is that how the saying goes? Don't show all your cards.
Or show your hand?
Yeah, that's it. Don't show your hand. I don't skip this song, so that's a good thing. So don't get that twisted. So let's get the hate out the way right off the bat. Babytron. He's alright on this. The chorus is mid. So let me preface with this. I'm about to get in my music making mode, so take this with that in mind. The flow is easy, but has too much to remember. If you can memorize the chorus easily, then it's a pretty good chorus. But his verse for the first half is literally just the flow from the chorus repeated over and over and over and over again with different words, but the exact same flow, which is boring. It does nothing for me, and that's lazy to me. Again, these are all just my opinions as a songwriter myself. But the part about pulling up to a Valero with a Tesla, that did kill me. I was dying. And then he did hit a pocket that had me a little more rizzled up. But then he did this thing that I hate as an engineer. I hate when an artist records a bar at a time, and then they take that bar and the other bar and they leak over each other. And you can hear the two bars leaking into each other. So before he finishes one sentence, you can already hear the beginning of the other sentence. And this happens 3 or 4 times. I'll show you right now.
The raves like a spaceship is flow. All this drip thing I'm wrist off with that weak biz. Right around with the bam down 3, hit the grand slam. 4 pockets full. Go wham, pants cramp, pull it out, count it.
And as a songwriter, recorder, and engineer, and mixer, and masterer of myself, it bothers me. Now I know there are artists out there that do this, and some artists do this intentionally. I really hope Babytron didn't do this intentionally, and it was just the engineer he was working with. But if it was intentional, I have a lot of questions. Did you mean to do that? Was there a problem in the writing process and you didn't want to get rid of all the extra syllables? Can you record more than a bar at a time? Can you not record a bar? Can you record on beat? Can you rap at all? You see where this keeps going, and it gets worse and worse as I start to think about this? That's my problem when people do this. Usually there are like two things you can do. The first thing you can do, you can add highlights to the end of the bar where the rhyme is, so that way we don't notice the bleed and we think it's just a highlight. Or the second thing is just rewrite your fucking verse. I guess there's a third thing really, and that's just to say fuck it and leave it the way it is, which is what Babytron did. And that's my pet peeve with this verse, and why I'm not a fan of Babytron's verse. Anyway, Big Sean. I love Big Sean's bar game. Always have been a fan of Big Sean's bar game. Wasn't a fan of his rapping in the beginning. He was a very monotone rapper. He was one of those where I always thought that he never really wanted to rap. He wanted to be like a dancer or something, but his dad was like, you listen here, Sean, you're gonna be a rapper whether you like it or not. And Sean's like, no, Dad, I wanna dance. But he threw him into the record booth and was all like, rap, and he just had no effort at all because he didn't want to be there and was monotone the whole time, but he had bars. Nowadays he kind of has more inflections and actually has a more tones than one now, so I fuck with Big Sean now. I love Big Sean. Bar for bar, I think he's actually lyrically comparable to Eminem. It's only fair I say that his flow wasn't really that impressive to me, but that's what I expected. It's Big Sean. I'm here for the bars, so let's go ahead and go over some of these real quick. Watch your mouth before I go in it. Moving keys like a chord progression. I made a living off bars, I need no correction. We on staycation, locked the fuck in. Fucking bars. I wish I could have called dibs on that one. I would have been on that bitch real quick. Dibs. Now for M, I feel again like he just dialed this one in for the song. I do know that there's a rumor going around that this song was meant for Lyrical Lemonade's album, and I do kind of get that hint myself. There are people that were on Twitter speculating that this song is not meant for the album, and it does kind of feel like it's separated from the entire feel of the album. We also get a line from Big Sean where he references a Cole Bennett, which kind of gives credence to the idea that it was meant for that album. And Eminem probably just said, I'll take this if you're not going to use it, and just put it on his album. But we have no for sure proof about that, and if there is proof, I couldn't find it. If you can find that proof, I need a source and not just a source of, trust me, bro. Regardless, it sounds like Eminem could have ate on this track. There is a part where it looks like Eminem did begin to start eating, and then he caught himself. He was like, oh wait, nope, I gotta dial it back.
I got so many stories, but I hate ceilings. Ain't feeling your top 5 favorite rappers, so I know they about to be pissed at me. But this to me is a miss.
But again, Eminem did his thing. I wanted more from him. I'm sorry, I'm greedy, especially when this is the last rapidy rap track on this album. I expected more for the last one, you know what I mean. Like, this is what you're gonna leave us with, Brody? Come on.
Been waiting a long time for this shit.
Then we get to the last and final checkbox, which is Ken Kniff. We gotta have Ken Kniff to have a Slim Shady album. We get him back with a Ken Kniff rendition of Houdini, which is just great. You'll love to hear it. Where'd everybody go? And we get to the outro of the bass album. Finally, an emotional track with drums. Yes! Unfortunately, it doesn't bump like When I'm Gone. We get a very deep apology track from Eminem to his close loved ones and relatives. This is based off of a time period where Eminem overdosed in 2007. It seems like this song, it takes place if Eminem were to have died that day. For those who don't know, he was a drug addict between the years of 2002 to 2008. He had a little overdose scare in 2007 where he collapsed in the restroom and had to be rushed to the hospital. So in the beginning of the song, he falls as he takes another pill. That is when he overdosed. So the song is supposed to let us know that this is him apologizing to everybody about his death and letting us know like a retrospective of what he missed because he's dead and apologizing for it. It's almost like another attempt to redo A Rose and Castle from Revival. Now I do want to know, have y'all actually listened to these songs? I want to know how many haters of Revival actually listen to Revival. I'm willing to wager none of y'all. Except in A Rose and Castle, Eminem does actually get out of the coma and gets a second chance. While in Somebody Save Me, it's the end and he dies, and there is no redemption for Slim Shady.
Fast toward him and fast forward the past, consider them last 4 minutes as the song I'd have sang to my daughters if I'd have made it to the hospital less than 2 hours later, but I fought it and came back like a boomerang on him. Now a new day is dawning, I'm up Tuesday, it's morning, now I know. Right now I'm just weak as I fall further down in this deep hole and farther in the ground that I sink. As they lower me in my coffin, I feel the tears all falling down on my cheek.
Now, I know he did this song with his normal natural voice because he had plans to perform with this song, but I feel like this was probably one of the more important songs to use the AI voice with. I feel like having a Slim Shady voice apologizing to everybody who was involved and around him would have hit harder and had a greater impact than having his modern day 50-year-old voice apologizing instead. I feel this would have been the conceptual part to do that at. Again though, that's just my opinion. That's how I would have done it if it were me. Now this hits hard, but not as hard as Temporary, because while this is a retrospective of what Eminem would have missed, we all know he didn't miss it. So it's not as hard as Temporary, which is dealing with a very real problem. I mean, not really a problem, but a very real situation that will come later in the future. Then we get the chorus from Jelly Roll, which comes from a song he did back in 2020, which is Somebody Save Me. And that is a song about a inner battle with addiction, which I'm sure Eminem resonated with and wanted this for this song in particular, and asked Jelly Roll, and of course, who's gonna say no? So Jelly Roll is now on this song. And it's a perfect outro. As I said, a retrospective on all the stuff that Eminem would have missed had he have died back in 2007. Funny enough, I did something very similar on one of my outros on my album 3 back in 2020. So if you thought M was a genius, go listen to my album and praise me too. And that concludes the base album. Now would be the part where I talk about the bonus tracks, but instead I'm going to vent about the clown that I am and the situation that happened after the album released, and obviously me being the clown that I was and currently am. I pre-ordered the album when it came out because it came with a free bonus track. I mean, obviously not free, but it came with a bonus track if you pre-ordered the digital album and you only had like a window of a week to get it. So of course, I like owning my own stuff, so I was gonna pre-order the album anyway. So boom, I pre-ordered the album. Then, the next week, they opened up the window again and said, hey, pre-order again and get bonus track number 2. Not the same one as the first, but a second one. But guess what? The first one that cost $12 for the whole pre-order, this one is also a whole nother $12. So if you wanted to get this second bonus track, you would have to pay $24 for 2 whole bonus tracks. Now you have to ask yourself, why would you spend $24 for 2 bonus tracks off of this digital album pre-sale pre-order? Well, because obviously it's exclusive to the website. You can only get it off of the website. That's what they said. That's what it says. Off of the website only, can't get it anywhere else. You can only get it for a week. Well, I didn't do that. I only got the first one. I said I'm gonna cut my losses. I'll take 1 bonus track. I'll listen to the other one off YouTube because that's where it's gonna end up anyway. It was a scam to me to spend that much money, $26. So I just suffered the losses and it was fine. You know what's not fine? Dropping the whole album with bonus tracks and an extra skit. And when I say bonus tracks, I mean the same 2 that were offered for $24. I actually think it was $26 now that I'm looking at the script. $26 for $7. Is that what it was? I think it was $7. I didn't write it down, but I think it was $7. It was half that price. Half the fucking price. You know what I did? I bought it. It's okay. I'm supporting my favorite artist. He needs money. It's all for Eminem. I love Eminem. At least it's exclusive and only a select few will have these bonus tracks. Then the extended version is announced. And I already knew where this was heading. And like that, anyone with Spotify, anyone with Apple Music, they had access to the exact same songs that I spent a total of, what is that? $20 on. $20 on. They had access to, with an addition of an extra song. Oh boy, I was mad. I bought the Steve Berman edition just for it to end up on the morning edition. And with that...
Hi, it's Steve Berman from The Office. Apparently, Slim Shady has gone missing.
We get a Steve Berman skit, which is, I like to look at it from the past. As we know in Houdini and in the actual, album, Slim Shady gets through a portal, ends up in the future or today's time. So that means that he disappears in his time period. So he goes missing, and Steve Berman knows Slim Shady's missing, and they probably put out a missing poster looking for Slim Shady. So I like to think of the skit as Steve Berman in that time period getting calls from people looking for Slim Shady, and he's just happy that Slim is gone. He doesn't want him back. He's a nuisance, a thorn, gone. Which I think is funny. But again, fun fact, Steve Berman was never on the Slim Shady LP, so it really makes no sense for him to be on this album. Just... yeah, fun fact, I guess.
Come see how heavy it get. I done seen way too much stress as a jit. Death in this section was present, we prepping for war, so we feel like...
The only new track to me, and this was pleasantly surprising, even considering the deep, primal anger I had from this incident. I thought it would be tough to match the original Fuel, and I was correct, but I was also wrong. Admittedly, I haven't kept up with Boogie, but I must say he killed the first verse. I feel like he had a verse that I think was comparable to both Eminem and Jid on the first version of Fuel, and I think he should have been on it. But I think Eminem was trying to do the whole Shady addition to Fuel and wanted the Shady roster on this song, so it is what it is. And I do think that Boogie, if anything, should have gone second because he really set the bar really high, and I don't think Grip reached those expectations. No offense, just my opinion. Grip is another artist who is newer and joined the Shady roster back in 2021. I am getting old. I just recently realized that that is way older than I thought it was. Yeah, he reached some pockets and some flows that I have heard before, just a little more sped up on this one. And I mean, nothing really too fancy in comparison to what Boogie did. If Boogie wasn't on the song, Grip probably would have impressed me, but he should have gone first. Sorry, this is my opinion. But don't get me wrong, it wasn't something that, held the track back or held the track down. It still had my attention the whole time. And then we get to M, which really caught me off guard, and I'm sure a lot of y'all felt the same way when we got to his verse. I'm pretty sure he brings back AI for this track. I haven't really heard him hit this pocket of rage in a while. After Relapse, when he attempted to kind of hit this pocket, it sounds more like what MGK claims Eminem sounds like when he yells at the mic. Kind of like the whole, I'm not afraid, like that kind of just yelling at the mic and not the guttural primal anger we get in songs, for example, Till I Collapse, where it's really more anger than it is yelling. And we haven't really heard that from Eminem in a minute, and we kind of get that again on this song, which kind of makes me think that AI was used to bring that back. And I feel like this song was taking inspiration from songs like Fight Music, or for hardcore fans, deeper cuts like The Sauce, or The Re-Up, or It Has Been Said. You have this really actual guttural anger to it. And then in comparison to this track, you can see the resemblance.
I like Slim's hair when he bleached it. Y'all need a light and up. I give a fuck. I don't care in the least bit. Kiss every swearing, jump my white wearing, not guaranteed. And my Liberace's, Versace's, and you Nazis watch me, cause you thinking you got me in this hot seat. You motherfuckers wanna judge me, cause you're not me. Times I say it's stand, you'll never blow jack.
It's kind of like he took the vocals from those types of songs and just threw them into an AI machine, rapped into it, and had the AI do a lot of the heavy lifting for him. I honestly think he can't do it anymore, otherwise we'd be seeing that a lot more often, which we don't. And then he hits this flow which sounded very similar to the Hills remix that he did way back when, that was a while ago, just a little more sped up. I'll put a little comparison sample right here.
Or you just wanna be guilt-free and still creep, but these hills see from that POV. We can touch, but the only way you feel me is with a camera. Feel me?
Bars ever will be, that's the real reason I still squeeze and I fill these bars with so much vitriol. These
and like Fuel, where he took shots at Diddy, on the Fuel remix, he takes shots at Diddy. I thought it was interesting that he references Diddy getting arrested on the release of the Morning Edition, which was Friday the 13th, September 13th. And then Diddy gets arrested September 18th, which was like, what, 5 days later. That was a pretty interesting coincidence and pretty funny to see in real time. But yeah, that is something that did happen. And the beat was switched up from the original Fuel song. I'm sure you noticed they amped up a lot of the background sounds and turned down a lot of the foreground sounds, and then they added I think they added the sample from Brand New Dance. I'll put those side by side here. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and I'm probably not going to include this. But if that is the case, that was a nice inclusion. Very good, very nice. I like it a lot.
My dad died, he's still on my bad side. That's how I know that I'm back on my shit, cause I'm that fly.
This one sounded like another track that was supposed to be on Music to Be Murdered By. From the instrumental to the hook that was sung by 15 After, a lot of this sounded like it should have been on Music to Be Murdered By, probably got cut off, or I have kind of like a little headcanon going on that it was meant to be on Music to Be Murdered By Side C, which was rumored to be a thing after on the, I think it was the music video or the lyric video for Tone Deaf, there was a white version of Music to Be Murdered By in the background, and it was speculated that that was going to be Side C. Never came to fruition, and I think if it was, this was one of the few songs that were supposed to be on it, along with what I think was Bad One. But yeah, this song comes with a lot of fun flows and a lot of bars that Fantano would probably consider corny, because bars are apparently considered subjective now, and anyone could call anything a bar now for some reason, because fucking people are stupid. Kendrick can say,
I'm rolling deep in that paper like 2 Adele's.
And J. Cole can say,
I'm hot dog, catch up to me, nigga.
And no one will bat an eye, but Lord forbid Eminem say, I'm out for blood like the Red Cross, and now all of a sudden, that's corny. Ooh, why do you say that? Oh no. Is it because he's white? That sounds racist to me. Anyway, I felt the same way about this track as I do about Bad One. This is one of those that I would love to play while driving, and it has a hard-hitting instrumental with nothing but double entendres, bars as I like to call them, and a very fun flow. And it does sound like Eminem genuinely had fun writing this actual song. The only thing that makes me think it wasn't meant for a Music to Be Murdered By album was Eminem does say Coup de Grace on here, but again, he could have added that in later to make it fit more with the album. So that's up for debate.
Standing on the speaker, tallest Burj Khalifa, powder on the plate to turn the girl into you.
Last song on the album, we get 2 Chainz as the special guest. And let me start with I like 2 Chainz. I don't keep up with him, but I don't skip him unless he has some shitty ass fucking feature, which unfortunately he does tend to have pretty often. But he does come pretty bar heavy, and that's one of my favorite things of 2 Chainz. If you haven't noticed, I have a theme of rappers and why I like them. I loved him on the Chloroseptic remix, and I wish that that would have made the cut for Revival, but I know that there are a lot of people out there that are glad that 2 Chainz did not end up on Revival, and I get why. Now, so let's get the part out of the way where you're gonna call me a hater. I felt that he phoned this verse in. Go listen to the song if you haven't already. Because I know a lot of the people probably watching this haven't listened to the extended version yet. Go listen to Kyrie and Luka. Now, you know, a couple of seconds ago or minutes ago when I said that bars are subjective? Because bars are apparently considered subjective now, and anyone could call anything a bar now. And I defended Eminem's quote-unquote corny bars because other rappers say the same quote-unquote corny bars. Well, it's one thing to say these bars, it's another to say a bar that's been said before, or a bar that's easy to come up with. Doesn't make it corny, but it makes it not good. And this goes for the J. Cole line I said earlier, that hot dog catch up to me. That bar has been said repeatedly over and over again well before J. Cole said it. Don't think I looked over that. That bar was bad when I said it. But 2 Chainz says a lot of bars in this song that I've either already heard before or are commonplace jokes, which does not help this song. Like the Crips eating seafood. I'm sure you've heard that before. And even he said that before on a song with Travis Scott called Whip.
Well, my partner is a Crip, the only thing he eat is seafood. Yeah, my homie a Crip. Seafood and you is a shrimp.
And here are a few more generic bars off of this track that are pretty common. Real recognize real? You don't look familiar? Like, really? I wonder how long it took him to write that one. I'm at the bottom of my bag like some hot fries. 2 minutes tops. I say 2 minutes tops on that one. I got this shit lit? No need for a candle? I was really disappointed in the writing for this verse. But there were highlights though, like I fucked my girl in the daytime on a nightstand. That was hard, and the way that he kind of carried that flow through with his cockiness also made that hit harder than it should have. So there were some redeeming qualities, but again, there were just too many very generic bars that I couldn't look over. Tony, that's my top 5. I mean, it wasn't even funny. And then we get to Eminem, who I think cheated with the beat switch that he got. Like, where was this bass the whole time? And then Eminem kills it with the bars that I come to expect from 2 Chainz, but it's fine because Eminem just carried the whole team with it, especially with this cardiac bar scheme that he did. Went to the cardiac, about to act like the way cardiac, and he's about to have a cardiac. Like, those are bars. That's 3 things, meaning 3 different things said 3 different ways. And then like my favorite bar wasn't really even a bar. It was not an entendre. It was just something that I should have thought of, but I didn't, and it made me mad. When he said that you're just mad because my cerebellum's a parabellum, like that. Why didn't I think of that? Nonetheless, this track actually gave me flashbacks to the Tim Westwood freestyle that Eminem did. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a clip real quick and you can compare this to the song yourself.
It caused a massive 42-car pileup, not a scratch at all. Hopped up, holding an axe and saw. Jason mask is off, but my face is plastered in Tabasco sauce.
Like how cardiac, I'm already back, I just had to run to my cardiac. Headache and the leave, I'ma need 8 of them. For Pete's sake, I've been stepping on leaf rakes again.
This was a better conclusion on the lines of rap compared to Tobey, in my opinion, and I'm glad that he ended it with this extended edition. Just not happy in the way that it was released, with the fucking me over, and fuck. Are you still here? I hope so. There are some podcasts that are longer and with less information than this. So if you left by now, the fuck you for leaving. I didn't blur that one. The Death of Slim Shady, the album that has been advertised as a direct sequel to the Slim Shady LP. You can argue with me all you want down in the comments, but you cannot argue with the promos, with the font of the cover of the album. This album was displayed to be a direct sequel to the Slim Shady LP. Now, with that in mind, I think this album missed the mark tremendously. If we were to look at the things that it references to the Slim Shady LP, there really isn't that much. We get Paul, but Paul is in every other album. It's really hard to miss with that one. We get Guilty Conscience too, but it doesn't even have Dre. We got a lot of people ask me, which is like the only actual reference to the Slim Shady LP. And then we get Ken Kniff, which again, Ken Kniff's in like all the albums, another one that's hard to miss as well. We don't get Royce da 5'9". We don't really get many rapidy choruses. We don't get any references to all of the other songs on the album. We could have at least gotten a follow-up to the Soap skit. Like, what was that supposed to be about? It'd have been cool to get some conclusion or some closure about that, right? I think that would have gave me chills to see an ending to that. But no, that's your list right there of references to the Slim Shady LP. There you have it. Hope you're happy with that. So it's a shame we didn't get a public service announcement, but I didn't expect it because for those who don't know it, the guy who did the public service announcements in the lore died on a D12 album. I'll do a clip right here of that.
Hold him down, now he's running, but fuck it.
God damn it, if you would have just stayed still, nothing would have happened to you.
So I didn't anticipate him to come back from the grave like Slim Shady apparently. This album was more of a memoir to Slim Shady, which they could have done a better promo than, in my opinion. But in that case, they hit pretty much every mark. We got Paul, we got Steve Berman, we got the Slim Shady voice, we got a whole bunch of skits here that are references to the previous thing. We got Ken Kniff, we got references to Eminem Show, Encore, Slim Shady LP, Eminem LP, Eminem LP 2. We got even references to other things that I just spent like a whole hour explaining previously. Go watch it, I'm not gonna waste your time talking about it again here. Then we have the issue of like not enough Dre production and then missing a whole bunch of features that I think were rightfully allowed a spot on this album. Royce da 5'9", Dr. Dre, J. Cole, 50 Cent, Kendrick Lamar, where are they at? Or I would have loved to have seen like Exhibit, Obi Trice, Snoop Dogg, somebody from the Slim Shady era who would have helped push that agenda forward, that is the Slim Shady LP, or someone from the same past as Slim Shady. But all that aside, the Death of Slim Shady has a lot of replay value, more so than Music to Be Murdered By in my opinion as of right now, but only time will tell if that's the case, and if you haven't listened to this album, you need to. It is actually really good. Then for the conceptual part, the controversial part, the part that everybody was talking about when it was coming out. The idea was that Slim Shady was the intolerable one, the immature one, which was made heavily clear by the lyrics.
Fuck blind people and deaf people suck. So do cripples, dumb quadriplegic.
With making fun of midgets.
You can't say they retarded. Shut up, midget. Shut up, midget.
Fat people.
Ain't never really truly over till Lizzo sings like I won't say that. We Chicago fat people.
Transsexuals, Caitlyn Jenner more specifically.
Holy shit, Kate Jenner just flipped. Told me knock this shit off and quit and get off her dick. Damn.
Now on the subject real quickly before we move on and before people start jumping on the whole Eminem is a transphobe, I would like to point out some facts, or a fact to you real quick. Stevie Lane Scott, who is one of Eminem's children, is non-binary and gender fluid. So Eminem's beliefs on gender identity isn't what most are led to believe based off of the lyrics you're probably hearing off of this album. Just wanted to throw that out there before people started thinking that he was like a bigot or a transphobe. Do your research, but not flat earth research, real research. And then we also get some like Chris Reeves slander, like the good old days, classic Slim Shady making fun of the less fortunate. And in the song Guilty Conscience, he's kind of showing us the hypocrisy of that.
Matter of fact, ain't you the same one who hated bullies calling you bad names? Yep. Then you turned around and did the exact same. So just
he was young and immature, and people grow and change their minds, which isn't a bad thing. Remember that. Growing and changing your mind is not a bad thing. He also points out that having Slim Shady as an alter ego kind of benefited him as he got older because he kind of had a scapegoat for all of the bad decisions that he made, and he would continue to pile those bad decisions onto Slim Shady, which in the end became a bad thing. He kind of split himself into two different personas, and his fan base also split into two as well. We had one camp that wanted to see Slim Shady all the time, and one camp that wanted Eminem to just grow up and move on from that, which we then see an internal conflict with him, which he shows us in the song Habits. We get to see more about that there.
Only wait for me to explain it, yes I'm conflicted. Walking on eggshells like if I take it too far is this it. Part of me gets it and wants to say I'm sorry and fix it. I'm sorry. So all my statements are basically contradictory.
Half the people want him immature and half the people want him to grow, but in reality he is both. We are childish at sometimes and laugh at immature, childish jokes. And sometimes we grow old and learn that some things just aren't funny anymore. As Eminem is reaching his 50s, he's having to look back and see that his kids are reaching adulthood and also becoming parents as well. He's now having to look back at Slim Shady and realize it's time to let him go. So in Eminem fashion, he has to kill Slim Shady. And in doing this on this album, I think it's his way of telling the fans, hey, Slim Shady's dead. I don't want to hear y'all asking for Slim Shady again. I don't want to hear, bring Slim Shady back. Where's Slim Shady? Blonde, bleach your hair, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't want to hear that shit anymore. So this is his response. Hey, bro, listen to the album. It's over. It's done. So he can move on and do the content that he wants to do with Eminem and do more, hopefully, Music to Be Murdered By type stuff in the future. Or, as speculated, retire, which I really hope that's not the case. I hope now that he has more free time, he will make more music. and we don't have to wait 4 years for another album. But anyway, to back up the idea of him having to grow up and to give up Slim Shady's mentality, we also have proof from the new interview video that he released a while back with him interviewing Slim Shady, and we can see the conflict between the two going on and how Slim Shady acts towards Eminem in the new time period of today.
You even understand how fucking hard I worked to get us here, man? It's fucking 2024, man. Let people live their lives. This shit ain't got nothing to do with you. It's not that fucking hard. Just respect whatever people want to be called and keep it moving.
It ain't my fault you got no fucking self-discipline. It's like all these fat people. It's everyone else's fault but yours.
Bro, what the fuck is wrong with you?
They both do eventually come together, make up in the end. We get a redemption arc for Slim Shady, but it's Slim Shady.
We're in this together, baby. Let the therapy flow through you.
My bad, dog. I sometimes get triggered, man.
It is the end of the era, and we probably won't hear about Slim Shady unless it's in bars and future songs, as you would come to expect. The only gripe I have is that he pulled a lot of the punches in the controversial sense, and I do think that takes away from what Slim Shady is, the kind of person who wouldn't pull punches. That's just what it is, and I think he did that to be more PC, which is a shame, but it is what it is, and that's how Eminem is as a 50-year-old man and has children and is trying to be a better person. And that can be overlooked because that is not the foreground of the commentary of the album. The foreground is the retrospective of Slim Shady and how it catapulted Eminem to the heights that he is at, and also what made Eminem so polarizing to a lot of the people who see the controversy that Eminem has created, and that is what makes Eminem who he is today and why he is so famous, and how that gift grew into a curse over time and created this internal conflict, as I said earlier. While Eminem may grow and become more mature and lose his Slim Shady self, the fan base continues to get new people and new youth, and the youth will keep coming, and the youth, it will always be reckless youth and still idolize Slim Shady, while Eminem will outgrow Slim Shady. So Slim Shady will always take a life of its own through the fan base, and he will have expectations he can no longer fulfill. So this album is him letting it go. Oh, I hit the mic, shit. Him letting Slim Shady go. I think the message went through. I mean, it's really up for debate. It's subjective. What do you think? I think the album did good. Yeah. Again, I just hope we don't have to wait another 4 years for another album. All right, next bit. Now, AI being used was speculated before the album was dropped with me and my friend CJ Popshop from the UK. Yes, we talked about this in late April, whenever the album was announced. He brought it up. I don't know how he knew or how he got the idea. I didn't want to believe it, so I didn't really pry. CJ Popshop is actually a custom Funko Pop, am I in frame? Is a custom Funko Pop maker who specializes in like hip hop Funko Pops. Coincidentally, here is his Eminem Death of Slim Shady Funko Pop, his newest model right here. It's Slim Shady in the body bag right there from the album. Yeah, very nice and great quality Funko Pops. I'll put a link to this down below also. Here are all the other options. These are the options you can get. Yeah, down below if you're interested. He does way more than just Eminem. Yeah, you can also commission any rapper you want. It doesn't even have to be rap. He can really do any Funko Pop you want. If you want to do yourself, that sounds weird. Now, if you want to make a Funko Pop of yourself, like I did, we got this done by CJ Popshop. He did that for us. He mentioned it, and I was really hoping it wasn't the case. The only thing that I really would have seen AI being used for would be like deep faking or like de-aging, like we saw for the Houdini music video or the Lyric Lemonade music video for Doomsday. That would be like the only thing I really thought it would be used for, not for the actual music. And then what we saw with the interview, I thought that was gonna be the full extent of AI. Then the album came out, I was shot back in time, I was having a great time. But then there was this one line said with no backing track, and it really caught me off guard. At first I thought he just like overcompressed his vocals or like moved to the middle of the EQ like really high up to give it that really overcompressed sound, kind of akin to what he did in the Legacy song.
Flying off with the handle at my mom, no dad, so I am non-compliant at home.
Or some other audio effect to help that Slim Shady sound, but no. It wasn't until this specific line in Habits that I was really sus.
This shit is like opioid abuse, isn't it? Yep.
That sounded a little more than audio engineering, if you ask me. And it was at that point on that I was a little suspicious, but I kind of put that thought in the back burner, listened to the album, did what I usually do, reviewed it, thought about it, went back to it, enjoyed it, so on and so forth. And as I listened to it, that thought stayed there, and it finally hit when it got to Antichrist. And I was like, this has to be AI. There ain't no way Eminem sounds like this. Which is crazy because Eminem can sound pretty close to Slim Shady. We see it in Calm Down with Busta Rhymes from like way back. Or if you want something more newer, go look at Gospel with Dr. Dre. We get kind of that Slim Shady twang, that draw that he has in both of those. But it still doesn't really sound anything like we get off of the Death of Slim Shady with his Slim Shady accent.
But just in case you was thinking an inkling of replacing the kingpin and crazy, you're wasting your inkling. So if this is any indication of what you may be facing,
I'm about as approachable as a roach is. So better steer clear from it. Here comes a nuclear bomb for your eardrums. Lyricism at its most fearsome and fierce. We're on it.
But like I said with the intro, Eminem, with performing as long as he had, reaching the age of 50 with polyps, with the overdose that he had in 2007, with the coma that followed and him having to relearn how to talk, and with that he had to relearn how to rap. He talks about it in an interview. I assume he can't really sound the way he used to sound. So I assume he leaned on AI to kind of help push the old Slim Shady sound and help him get the sound he wanted to get the conceptual part of this album out there. Now, vocal AI is not something new and it's not something old. It's been around for a good, I don't know, few years, maybe even 5 years at this point. I'm not sure. I'm sure I'll put something up to fact check that. But it's been around long enough to be good enough. For example, here's Crank Lucas. He's a YouTuber that does a lot of rap stuff. Here he is doing an Eminem bit where he raps like Eminem using Eminem AI. Here's part 1.
Crank Lucas in the building. I leap the light, screaming the night, cleaving pipes, bleeding despite needing the light. Reason to sleep with it, cheating. Mike was pleased to see you die, cause you wasn't beating it right.
Now you can see there's a lot of rough patches in there where you can kind of tell immediately it's AI, where the vocal of Eminem sounds kind of, you know, choppy and not right. Here's part 2.
I'm quite high, smoking tie-dye with tiny eyes, looking like I like tie. My bank account is a nice size, so when I'm eating off this bread, it doesn't imply that I bite right.
Now you can see things are fine-tuned and it sounds pretty damning, right? It sounds like Eminem. And this is a guy that sounds nothing like Eminem. He can rap like Eminem, but he can't sound like Eminem. And that's what the AI does. It does that part for him. Now imagine somebody who sounds like Eminem using AI that sounds like Slim Shady. You would probably not be able to detect it at all. So I guess the question would be, can Eminem sound like he used to back in the day? Well, I guess we can kind of look at that in comparison. I went to an Eminem concert last week. That sounds hard to believe, but I did. He was down here in Austin for the Formula One races, and we recorded a lot of that, and I'm about to show you him performing a few tracks back from his Slim Shady days. And you're about to hear him performing it in his modern voice, which is something you probably haven't heard at all. And I want you to listen and you tell me if he sounds like what you hear on Death of Slim Shady in the Slim Shady voice.
Eyelids wanna copy me and do exactly like I did. Try sit and get fucked up worse than my life is. My brain said, wait, I'm trying to get my head straight, but I can't figure out which Spice Girl I wanna impregnate. And Dr. Dre, I probably got a couple of screws up in my head loose, but no worse than what's going on in your parents' bedroom. So sometimes I wanna get on TV and just let loose, but I can't. But it's cool for Tom Green up and get move the bumpers up your legs, my bumpers on your legs. And if I'm lucky, you might just give it a little kiss. And that's the message that we give to little kids. And expect them not to know when a woman's clitoris is. Of course they're gonna know when in a court.
Now, to me, it does not sound like he can sound like he used to anymore. Now, of course, you could argue it is a performance, and performing and recording are two different monsters, and yes, even I can attest to that. I've done them. I know it's two different things, but this is the closest you're gonna get to a modern day comparison of modern Eminem rapping an old Eminem song, so you're gonna have to get what you get. Now, Caleb and I will now attempt to try and use software to detect AI on some Eminem acapellas. It's going to be tough because the software is newer, so it's not as foolproof, and the acapellas are not very clean, but we'll do it anyway, see what we get.
We are about to test to see if Eminem used AI on his most recent album, The Death of Slim Shady. I'm Nicholas from 2Dim Media. This is Caleb, also from 2Dim Media. This is going to be a kind of, I don't know, it might not even matter because the software that Caleb found is pretty rudimentary, it's pretty new. It's going to be hard to really find out if it is AI for two reasons. One being it's a new software. It's really hard to pinpoint if AI is found, mainly because the acapella files I found aren't completely clean. You have to get the actual track out masters, and I have a hard time reaching Eminem, as you can imagine. Anyone is going to have a hard time reaching Eminem. And the other reason it being is even if it was a real foolproof system, if Eminem did use AI, he used an AI of his own voice. So you can imagine using AI of your own voice over your own voice is going to be hard to detect because it's going to be practically the exact same voice. Super difficult to identify. So we're going to try it anyway just to see what we get. But from what I understand, Caleb found 4 different softwares. So let's go ahead and take it away, Caleb.
Alright, so as Nicholas kindly introduced us with, you know, the software is not anything crazy. We have not paid for any software. There are a few more premium ones, but right now we're not trying to drop too much money into something that might turn out to be fake. You know, we're just trying to do a little investigating, see if it's worth going further. But so all of these will take small samples, so that's what we've got up in here today. So all we gotta do is start dragging these bad boys in. The first one is this Detect Resemble AI website. These were the 4 that I found that had the most, like, you know, most of these things have, like, really crappy reviews because most of them don't work. These ones had kind of the most mid reviews, you know. They're not great, but they're not horrible. So, I'm kind of banking on that playing out well for us.
Too many head drinks, my head things, file of said things when jesting. They should arrest me for my testes, the biggest in the Southwest.
So what I had done is I had taken the acapella from the song Antichrist, which I am confident that a lot of the clips that I got, which are 2 main clips, are AI Slim Shady. And I cut those little 4 bars, both of them are 4 separate bars, and I transferred them out to both WAV and MP3 so we can try both of those out. So 4 different files, and we're testing all 4 of them out on 4 different softwares.
Well, so far we've just come back as fake. So we will go for the same one in MP3 and see if it gives the same result. But, you know, I'm gonna get fucking sniped by someone with some weird shit in my email one day.
Well, I can blur it out.
Results came back as fake on this one as well.
Wow, okay.
So that's 2 in a row.
Again, remember, it's a new software, so it could be a false positive.
I'm gonna go ahead and play this audio.
But who else is as pitiless, axly, witty, and crass, hideous, ghastly, and insidious? Ask me or spitting this nasty. Next idiot ask me is getting this ass beat worse than Diddy did.
Okay.
Happy strike. Immediately.
I know, I am a little bit worried about that one. That's another fake.
Oh, there we go. There's another one.
And this is the last one, which is, again, just the MP3 version. You know, we're testing the 2 different files it'll accept on the off chance that there's any difference between them. So that's a fake on all 4 for this one website. So, I mean, in theory, you know, if you're right and they are for sure AI, then, you know, it's telling the truth, but it is still hard to know given that it is still so new.
So, what we can do after we're done with all of these is I'll take one that I don't think is AI and run it through as a control one and see if that comes out as fake.
We could,
after these were just a single one. Yeah, me too. I'm like,
I keep forgetting I gotta put this email down here. Oh, that's a fake.
Fake. The one that I think is real is a fake. I'm telling you, I think it's just because of the engineering of like the compression and reverb.
That was the wrong file. Why do you want my email every time, bro? Leave me alone. Wrong.
I hit play so I can make sure it's the right one.
Bane put the gaze to his brain. I'm going out with the bang, eh?
Yeah, see, I'm pretty sure that's the real Eminem there. But
Bane put the gaze to his brain. I'm going out with the bang, eh?
Yeah, I'd agree.
But yeah, so again, I think the engineering might be the full culprit here. You have compression, you have reverb, you have chorus, and then we have also delay and echo. All of this probably has an impact on it, and we have highlights if you couldn't tell, and then a lot of it is ad-libs, which I think is very interesting that I noticed in the part that I think are AI don't have ad-libs, but the part that I think are Eminem's actual raw voice have a lot of ad-libs. That's something that I noticed doing this cutting up and exporting. But yeah, so take that with a grain of salt. So yeah, if this goes viral, we'll try and do more extensive research. We might even, put some money towards it, see what happens. But again, that could lead towards a cease and desist, and we might get sued. But you never know. That'd be great. Maybe I can get a signed restriction order from Eminem. That'd be great. That's a signature. That's a roundabout way to get it. Anyway.
Seen it once, right?
Yeah, I've seen them already. So
all you gotta do is make an enemy and then go get signed by MGK. Then you'll be set.
So do with that what you will. Here is the list of songs that I believe have AI in them. Go listen to them. Tell me what you think in the comments. If you think I missed any and you found some parts that do have AI that you think, let me know also. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking they're AI assisted, and the most damning is right here, the Fuel remix, the Shady edition. Tell me, you cannot tell me this does not sound like it's AI assisted. Like really? There are two songs that I can't figure out though, and that would be Houdini and A Brand New Dance. The more I listen to Houdini though, I kind of think it's not AI, especially after hearing him perform both Houdini and Without Me live. It seems like he can hit those pockets still and still sound like that, but if it were AI, I would say the first two verses of Houdini were AI, and they're like turned down to the lowest setting, and the third verse is his natural raw voice. But A Brand New Dance is a little more, I don't know, strenuous. It's very hard to tell because it is an old recording, he claims, from 2004, but he also mentions Caitlyn Jenner, which is modern, so he had to have re-recorded it, obviously. So if he re-recorded it, that means he re-recorded the whole thing to make it consistent, or he recorded bits and pieces of it and made it seamless, and he used AI, or maybe he didn't use AI and he can sound like he used to back in the Encore days. I don't know, can't tell you, does not sound like AI was used on this one at all. Needless to say, when it comes to A Brand New Dance, I do not have a horse in this race. Now the last thing I want to show you is the piece of evidence that kind of sealed the deal for me. Now whether Eminem is trolling or trying to tip us off, either way I think it worked. In the interview that I've been referencing throughout this video, he mentions this.
And if we're being honest, the music that you've been dropping since I bounced ain't it. Like, for real? When I heard your last shit, I thought that shit was fucking AI.
Really? And I leave you with that for Eminem using AI. Now, as far as AI being used in the rap industry, my opinion on that is pretty easy, and I'll be quick about it. I think AI is fine as long as you have permission from whoever's voice you are using. You have to have permission. I also feel like if you are using AI and it's from like an original voice or an original sound, make it clear that you are using AI and don't try and pass it as a natural organic voice. I think that's cheating. And I do think that it should be completely apparent that you are using AI to enhance or assist your actual vocals. Now, I can see in the comments, you're probably commenting, well, we don't have to let you know if we're using auto-tune. I can see that argument, but auto-tune helps change pitch, and that's it. AI helps change your entire voice, your inflection. It helps change your accents, your draws. It changes everything. With auto-tune, you're lying about talent. With AI, you're lying about identity. And identity theft
is not a joke, Jim.
And Eminem kind of had that covered from day one. After thinking about him using AI, he posted this tweet whenever he released the album, and I think in hindsight, it makes more sense why he said this. The Death of Slim Shady is a conceptual album. He said this because if we ever were to find out AI was used, well, it was conceptual. I don't think it was meant for the controversial parts, it was meant for that. But as far as the future goes, I don't want to see Eminem use AI in any future songs unless it's conceptual to bring back Slim Shady for another album, but that's really it. I don't want to see him use it. And that goes for all the other artists out there. I don't want to see y'all using AI unless it's for a conceptual part. Yeah, that's really it. Unless it's your gimmick, in which case, more power to you, I guess. Well, there you have it. That's my unsolicited opinion. Just an Eminem fan talking about Eminem music. I really hope you learned something today, or at least found a new song by Eminem you haven't heard about before and added it to your playlist. If you didn't, sorry for wasting your time. I hope you got at least a chuckle out of this and laughed. Yeah, shameless plug time. I have a song out, or 2Dim has a song out. It's called Pass Go. It's on Apple Music, Spotify. Go play that, stream that, add it to your playlist, go download it, whatever you got to do. Go listen to that, please. As I said, I'm not getting paid off this video, so that's one way to help us out. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe. Keep an eye out. The next main video, I bought a haunted doll. You're going to want to see that. I put a camera on it for 3 weeks. Pretty cool. Very creepy. Yeah. Anyway, transmission. Hey guys, let me know what you think about the album. Do you think it was AI? Do you think I'm just full of shit? If that's the case, that's fine. Leave it down in the comments. Helps the algorithm regardless. Yeah, if you haven't copped this album, I highly recommend you get it. I know it may sound like a lot of the songs I said were mid, but it's really mid in comparison to Eminem. In comparison to everything that's out there, it's pretty good. Let me know what you'd rate it. Do you think he faked it? Do you think he made it? I mean, obviously he made it, but nonetheless, Kendrick Lamar is GOAT. And yeah, don't argue with me in the comments because I'm always right.
This is not the life that I feel that I'm owed. They said it wasn't fair, but this shit isn't even close. Tied to these demons, they aren't even my own. Decisions weren't mine to pick. I've been tied to a stone just to be thrown overboard. Not the throne I had in mind.